Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today playing another community cast, which is fun. So this was sent in by Hero of Rome, and it's a good one. So here's Empire versus Greenskins, and you see he's got a very cavalry-centric army. So here you can see he's got Right Guard on either side, and in the middle he's got these 2 units of Demigryph Knights, not with halberds, which is what you often see with the Empire. Instead, for his anti-large, he's basically just got a ton of spearmen on either side. It also helps him go a bit wider, which is pretty cool. He's got some great swords in the middle, he's got the silver bullets and some handgunners in the back, he's got a Jade Wizard to heal up all the expensive units, and he's got a General of the Empire as well on a Griffin. So he'll be spreading terror as he flies around, and it's going to be pretty formidable. I like this army. So if we go over here, you can see the Greenskins, got some Durkit Squigs hidden, he's got both of the Night Goblin Regiments renown, so obviously one's unbreakable, which is pretty cool. And they both stalk, so you know, hidden in there, it'll be pretty cool ambush. And in the front line, he's got a mixture of Orc Boys and Black Orcs. So 3 of Orc Boys, 2 of Black Orcs. Here, Hammer of Gork, so you know, it'll put pressure on them to sort of move forwards, but of course with a cavalry-centric army, no problem, you know. Also some goblins on the sides, just some, you know, cheap extra units to help plug up some holes if need be. And he's also got the Rusty Arrows and 2 Night Goblin Archers. So I like the Night Goblin Archers here. You don't often see them. Usually people just go with the standard Goblin Archers with the Rusty Arrows. But yeah, having some Night Goblins is always fun. They're a little bit more formidable in melee. They're just slightly better than the Goblin Archers, really, and they can stalk. So these guys are all invisible right now. Also, he's got Azag the Slaughterer, so obviously death magic, very scary, so, you know, great pick, I think. And over here, you can see he's also got the Moon Howlers and some Goblin Wolf Riders. So these guys would be great, though I think I would have probably put them over here, in this corner, because I think you get to the action a bit quicker, and you can hide in these trees a bit, you know, there's a bit more cover. In case they're sort of spotted and start getting shot at or something, they can slip away easier. So I probably would have gone that corner. But anyway, so let's speed things up. So straight away you can see the General of the Empire is coming out to go sort of scout out. He baits in this this Spirit Leech, which, you know, using a bit of Winds of Magic, but it's going to do a bit of damage. Not actually a huge amount though. You see he's used the Charmed Shield, and that will actually negate some of the damage, which is pretty cool. So it's a good way just to bait out damage early. And here, this is going to get countered too. So Fate of Buna comes down, and obviously that would just completely demolish some Demigryph Knights. But a upgraded Regrowth goes down on these guys. So now the Demigryph Knights are actually healing through all the damage. So they're going to be able to get into the fight completely fresh, which is amazing. So over here you can see Durkit Squigs are going for these handgunners. I'm not sure why these handgunners peeled off this way. There's no protection here, so this was really rough. That was a real shame. Luckily the silver bullets are getting some damage into Azag, so that's okay. But you can see the the Moon Howlers and the Wolf Riders are coming in the back as well. And over here you can see all the Night Goblin Archers and the Rusty Arrows. They're all just unloading into the General of the Empire here, and that is really going to hurt. But speaking of things that are really going to hurt, Demigryph Knights charge, do a ton of damage to these Black Orcs, barely take any in return, which is really incredible. Also, these Orc Boys are getting just smashed to pieces by the Right Guard on this side. Here, a little bit more of an even fight. There's some Right Guard here fighting Black Orcs. They've stayed in the combat a little bit too long, I think. So here, some great swords are following up. They'll be able to get to these Orc Boys and just demolish them. So here, I probably would have gone for another charge of the Demigryph Knights into here, but it looks like he's trying to just break through completely. So you'll see he will get these Demigryph Knights onto all the archers. Unfortunately, the General of the Empire has taken so much damage here. So he's used Foe Seeker to try and escape a little bit better, but I think so is Azag, so that's pretty rough. So in the back, you see the Demigryph Knights have come in to support the Silver Bullets, but it's a bit late for the Silver Bullets, honestly. And now, got a couple of these Night Goblins have come in the sides, bogged down a couple of these Spearmen, but frankly, that's great for the Empire. The Spearmen, they can sit and hold for a while, and it just means they don't have to worry about these other, units coming in and getting rear charges or things, so pretty good. But here you'll see the Demigryph Knights, they will do great against this stuff, but it will take a while to kill them. They are not the anti-large variant, so if they were, these guys would all be dead already. So over here, the General of the Empire has come back. Azag has stopped chasing him because he realised he needs to get in here to back up his front line. Things are going really badly. So you see the Goblins have come in, try and pin these guys down, but they can just be run away from, and even if they did stay in combat, they do so much damage to the Goblins. So these Spearmen amazingly are holding off 2 Orc Boys on their own, which is fantastic. You really want to just bog down as much stuff with these cheaper units as you can, and let your cavalry just do whatever they want. So backline completely compromised. These great swords chasing a little bit more than they probably should be. I'd probably double them back, try and take out. Actually, I'm not sure what I'd take out. Probably come over here, help with these Black Orcs. So you can see the Right Guard are coming in the back here. And over here you can see the Jade Wizard. He is not on a horse, so it's going to be very difficult for him to escape Azag. So it's nice to try and single him out early, try and do some damage to him. So because he will get a lot of value in this battle. So wild procs as well, just to give him some extra punch here. So way more melee attack, and hopefully be able to hit him. But the flying is so janky in this game. Sometimes he will just not be able to hit anything. And now silver bullets are coming in to help fire, but these goblin wolf riders will outpace the demigryphs, so that he'll be able to get in there. So that is a real pity. So over here, see the Rights Guard stayed in combat with the Black Orcs a little bit too long, and these great swords have finally had enough by the looks of it. They've been through a lot, those great swords. These ones taking a lot of fire from all this, but with the cavalry backing them up, a lot of these archers are going to get taken out pretty well. So the General of the Empire actually came in to help, and yep, over here you can see these Demigryph Knights have been trying to deal with some of these other units too. So the Rusty Arrows are getting taken care of. They're very good units. You want to take them out early, because frankly that's going to negate the advantage you have of having all this armoured cavalry, you know. So once again the General of the Empire is in a bit of a precarious situation, but he will try and escape that in a bit. You see the Demigryph Knights are going to come to try and back him up. And over here, these other Rights Guard are helping deal with these Night Goblin Archers. So still very healthy unit of great swords here. Should be able to finish off these Black Orcs nice and easily. But a lot of Orc Boys have just won here. Those Spearmen have been taken care of, and now there's some Black Orcs and some Orc Boys coming in here. Big mob of units, which is very scary. So in the back, you know, these Goblin Wolf Riders are being taken care of by the Demigryph Knights. The Jade Wizard is still going, because Azag had to stop trying to kill him. Durkit's Squids up there. Durkit's Squigs, there we go. They're still going, just about. And so are the Moon Howlers. So there's a lot of pretty scary stuff still running around, but he is running out of ways to deal with the with all the heavy cavalry. I just don't see him being able to kill them all at this point. Even with what he has left, it's going to be very difficult. There's a lot of heavy cavalry still left alive with a lot of health. And, you know, still have the Jade Wizard, so we'll be able to get maybe another regrowth on something at some point as well. So here you can see Azag did get caught out a bit by the cavalry. He's taken some damage, but he escaped. And the General of the Empire is now chasing, so the General of the Empire is on the offensive here. But another Spirit Leech comes down, so he's taking some more damage. It looks like over here he's going to try and back up these Spearmen. So a lot of just reactive play here, you know. Every time something's in trouble, send something mobile after it, which I really like. That's what I love about having, you know, an army with a lot of cavalry. You have a lot of things that can react, and if anything's getting focused, you can just run away, you know. They can just outpace a lot of the infantry, so they can avoid getting bogged down themselves, which is pretty cool. So you see Azag is coming in here to try and support this fight, but regrowth comes down here on these great swords, and the great swords, they wouldn't do great against the Black Orcs, especially with all this backup from the Orc Boys. But now a really good charge into these Black Orcs. The Goblobber is online again, and you can see these Rights Guard are trying to deal with them. Azag is trying to stop the Rights Guard from dealing with them, but he can't stop all these guys on his own, you know. So now the Rights Guard is going to chew through a lot of these units. So, and it will stop, you know, these guys getting bombarded, which is pretty great. So, Fanatics flying out there in all kinds of directions. But yeah, these guys are unbreakable, so you've got to worry about that, you know. But the Demigryph Knights really need to be focusing on these Black Orcs, and they will be. This is pretty much the only real threat these great swords have got, and they're already losing this fight. So, should be able to finish them off nice and easily, and the Orc Boys are just going to get chewed to pieces by great swords. But Azag is coming in to try and help. More cavalry has come in just to finish off this back line. You see units starting to shatter, and the General of the Empire is coming in here to help too. So the General of the Empire pretty safe while he's surrounded by all this cavalry, so he doesn't have to worry about it too much. Unfortunately, the Jade Wizard is getting caught out again. So yeah, that Jade Wizard, I'd probably have him just try and stick around with the great swords, to be honest. That way you've at least got some protection, and you know, it'll slow things down a bit that are trying to get him. So, you know, a bit rough for the Jade Wizard here, but he's probably pretty low on Winds of Magic at this point, you know, with that final regrowth. So maybe this doesn't matter all that much. Yeah, I was thinking maybe army losses, it would help, you know, to take out like a high value unit like a wizard, but with all this expensive cavalry, I don't think he's in any real danger of that happening. So here, all the units get terrified and broken in here, which is really good. Azag's coming in to try and do some damage, but with the Demigryph Knights and the Great Swords in here, it's going to be pretty rough. But Durkit Squigs run in, they will do some great damage. They got armor piercing and anti-infantry, so they'll do a lot against the Great Swords. They're pretty good for hit and runs, but of course they are very, very damaged right now. So still some Orc Boys in here, still the Night Goblins that are of course, you know, unbreakable, so they would be. But the General of the Empire is coming in here to try and help break them, and that's the end of the Squigs. They are shattered. So over here, amazingly, these archers have come back again. General of the Empire now basically running away again. This cat and mouse story between these two, I just think is hilarious. There's constantly changing depending on which one has the advantage. So it's pretty great. They've been great to just, you know, react when they're in a bit of trouble, to escape. So it's been very cool to watch these two fighting. So here you can see the Demigryph Knights are chasing, but with Foe Seeker, Azag will be able to actually escape this, which is very impressive. Even on land, he is very quick. But of course, a lot of these units now are quicker on land. A lot of the flying units have been given speed buffs for when they're on the ground, which I think is a good call, to be honest. It means you can actually escape fights a bit more. You can't get trapped so quickly, you know. Because yeah, a lot of flying units are pretty flimsy, honestly. Setting a trap for a dragon is pretty easy. So yeah, I think giving them some extra speed is nice. So here you can see the General of the Empire is getting chased. But here, now that he's kind of run out of orcs to kill, he can basically just finish off a couple of these haggard units, and Azag is going to have to land. So here, he thinks about it, changes his mind, and he thinks, yep, those are shattered now. These guys are free to come in and back up the General of the Empire. So now this cavalry is coming in, and with Azag here, now that he's landed, he can issue the attack order. So now, General of the Empire should be able to turn around, he can withstand a couple hits, and even if he doesn't, I don't see Azag getting out of this fight. And with everything else on the ground, you know, broken or shattered, or wavering, shattered, there we go, yeah, Azag's going to have to stay on the ground, and that's the end of it. So, very well played by Hero Rome there, really enjoyed that fight, and yeah, great to see some cavalry, and great to see Demigryph Knights, just the standard ones, you know, it's always with the halberds, they're always the anti-large sort of component of an army. But no, he just went with all armour, knowing that, you know, the Greenskins have limited armour piercing. So it's pretty cool. While saying that, Greenskins have a lot of armour piercing, but heavy cavalry is still great. Even if it's, you know, nasty skulkers, technically they've got good armour piercing, but, you know, you charge them with a couple of units of Right Guard and they're just going to get flattened. So don't have to worry too much about that. Broken Tusk Mob would be a bit of a problem, I think, but, you know, as long as you can get some guns on them or something, it works out pretty well. So I think this is a pretty great build, to be honest. I really like this against the Greenskins. Very formidable, and yeah, just having that Jade Wizard just reacting to the death magic, I think is really cool. I think that's a really clever move, and it basically made Azag kind of, I mean, not worthless. Obviously, you know, he still has good melee and everything, but with only 6 kills, he wasn't able to get a lot of use out of him. You know, he couldn't stay on the ground for long without being chased and harassed by all this cavalry. So it doesn't really matter that these guys didn't have anti-large. You know, they still pack a wallop. So very dangerous for Azag, and without Fate Abuna being able to actually do some damage, it was pretty impressive. So I loved how this army was used, and I think it's a great composition. So I do actually like this composition, but it's very difficult when you're just having people run circles around you, and you don't have any heavy cavalry yourself, you know, to sort of plug in those gaps where the cavalry charge through. It's pretty rough. So definitely a great fight though. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like and subscribe, and you can actually send me a replay of your own if you send it to JanetOnOccasion@gmail.com. I'll be sure to take a look at it, and I might very well put it on the channel. It should be pretty great. Must say though, stick to one-on-ones. People just don't watch 2v2s, and they're a lot more difficult to record. So if you've got any good one-on-ones, send them in, and I'd love to see them. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.